Hello everyone, welcome back. Sorry I haven't posted in a couple of weeks. I've been busy with life stuff, work stuff, and also those other couple of builds. The Tiger tank in honor of Conan C. Michael on ISM, and the my Airfix Type 99 also for the ISM group build, Rising Sun. Which brings me to what you have here in front of me. So, one of my favorite planes is the Japanese Zero, along with the Corsair. Probably that's stemming from as a child growing up watching Baba Black Sheep on TV here in the U.S. So I just always had fascination with those two aircrafts from World War II, along with other good, movies, classic movies like Tora, 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 and so forth. I have a few kits here of the Zero, which I did not build for the ISM group build. I just want to do something different for that group build. But what I have here are three Tamiya kits. This is the A6M2, M3, and the M5C. These are older Tamiya kits. You can get these now. I see them usually between $12 and $15. If you find these, you should not pay more than $15 for these. Obviously, shipping is shipping. These are all similar kits. These are all 2007 boxings that you see here in front of you. But these kits are older. The top one here, the A6M2, the original molding dates from 1973. The bottom two, the M3 and the M5, these dates from 82 and 83, I believe, respectively. So what I want to do here is just to give you a quick look. Well, kind of a quick look. Might be a little bit longer video, just to show you what's in these boxes and a comparative of the three molds of these planes come, in case you're interested, right? Okay, so off the very top, you can see they all have very similar boxings. Taking the edges, all very similar layout, which makes sense since they're all from 2007. So you got different color callouts, and you got the different paint schemes and so forth that comes in the boxes. It's interesting how they have the different colors noted here, slightly different colors for the green and the undercoat, the under gray green color. Alright, so I'm just going to go one by one. I'm going to open them up. I'm not going to open the bags yet. I'm going to open them up in a moment, but I just want to show you how they come in the box. So this is the first one, the A6M2. Everything comes here in three bags. There's a bag for the clear sprues. There's a bag here with the wings and main fuselage, and then here with the other top half of the wings and the pilot and so forth. I also bought the Edward mask for these, and then you also get your typical Tamiya fold-out instruction booklet for this. You get your decals, which I'll open and I'll compare them with the others. And also, which is really nice, you get this nice little full color printout of the color markings for this aircraft. Alright, so that's the A6M2. Put that off to the side. This is the 3. And this mold is about 11 years after this. So here you have in one bag, you got the ground crew here, you got the clear sprue in its own bag. Within that bag, then you have another bag that has the fuselage and the wings. You have the decals, and you have the instructions. Let me flip this over. What's interesting is that the instructions, there's two instructions, one in English and one in Japanese. The Japanese did come on top over the English one, by the way. That's how it came packaged. That's the 3. And finally the 5. And this boxing tool came about a year later after the 3. So 12 years after the M2. Alright, so this is molded in green plastic. Again, you have the lower wing, one piece. You got the wing tops, fuselage, other parts. Then you have another bag similar to the 3, where you have the ground crew and other parts, and the clear sprue in its own bag within that bag. And again, I picked up the Edward mask for this as well. Makes these greenhouse canopies much easier. And similar with the 3, you got instructions in the two languages, Japanese and in English. And these are slightly different. These are also the fold-out type, although it's a little slightly different compared to the modern Tamiya. And you also have your decal sheets here. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to pause for a moment and I'll come back and show you a comparative of the different plastic parts. Right. Okay, here, let's start off with the canopy sprues. As you can see, all three canopies are all identical. They're all sprue C, all the same part numbers, and all the same parts. I see absolutely no difference between any of these. This is the M2, the M3, and the M5 respectively. As you can see, even though this is from 1973 to 1983, over a 10-year period, there is no difference in the sprues for the canopy. So if you get canopy mask like I did for one, it will most likely fit the others. There's no difference that I can tell. Alright, now to the next. Okay, so here we have the next bag of sprues, which contains the fuselage halves and the lower wing for all of them, except for the on the 2, it's just the lower wing. On the 3 and 5, you also have the upper wing half. So let me just show you the differences here. I'm just going to push these off to the side. Hopefully I'll keep these all in order so I don't get confused myself. Alright, so just take a look here at the lower wing halves of all three planes. So here you have the original, the M2 21 model, where you got the wing tips. Now on the actual aircraft, these wing tips would fall, but that doesn't on this model kit. Then you have the 3, which is the clip wing version. As you can see, the wings are shorter. What they literally did was just clip the wings, the part that folds. And then you have the 5, which goes back into the full length curved wingtips, although the wing is a little bit shorter. So it's kind of the best compromise of all two of these, and this is the most produced model of the Zero aircraft. So just zoom here and show you a bit of the details here of the wheel wells. As you can see, they all have very similar, even though these are all different molds, they all have very similar details insofar as the wheel wells here, as you can see. And also as far as the engraving on the wings. Now on the 1973, this is part recessed and part raised detail. On the 82 model here, you also have some raised details and some recessed. And then on the 83, same thing as the 82, very light raised and recessed panel lines that you have here. Just to show you a bit more details. And you can see also with the 5, has the additional parts for the 5 here on the wings, namely the bombs and the extended guns for the wings. All right. Then you flip these over. There's nothing on the other side. It's just plain. And then on the 5, you do have molded in some details here for the flaps. So presumably you can probably cut and maybe pose these down. So we'll take a look at the instructions a little bit later. Alright, so those are the wings. And then here we have the fuselage halves. Just stack them next to one another so you can see them. You can see they're all, zoom out so you can see them clearly. There you go. As you can see, they're all very similar. It's hard to tell any differences among them, if any. They all seem to have the same tail, same length. So there are no differences here on the external surfaces for that. So let's flip them over and see what do we have on the inside. Alright, so here's one difference. Let me zoom in here. So try and catch the light here for you. So you can see. So this is the 1973 M2. You see there's no cockpit well detail here on the side walls. And then you get to the 3 and 5. You have the same details. You do have some details here on this half. So you got the wheel, the little drive chain, you got the crank here. So you got some little detail here. So the other half of the fuselage, let's move over to that. Now on the 73 model, you do have details on that side, but nothing on the other side. And then on the other two, you have similar looking details, although here on the 3 and 5, the detail is a little bit more pronounced and a little bit more better representative, which should be, I mean, this is 10 years later, so that makes sense that you have the same better details on the molds. Then you have the other parts here. So this is the 73. This is the M2. Here you have parts for the landing gear doors, closed and open. So you want to do a closed flight up. You got the flaps on, a little bit of flash here, but not too bad considering it's 1973 mold. The landing gear itself. And then on the 3 and 5, you have the upper wings. You can see, again, same level of detail. Probably a little bit more here in the 5, and then would just be representative of the actual plane. Here you have your seated pilot. As you can see, even though these are similar sprues, they have been changed to accommodate the differences in the two kits. Here you got open flaps and you have the exhaust. Here you have closed flaps, open flaps. Here you got the engine firewall, the engine mounts. As you see they're different. Over here you got the cowling closed. Over here was over here. Then you got the pilot. You got the drop tank, which is a different design between the two aircraft. This is a solid piece here, and here you got the swing mounting points here. Alright, let me come back with the other sprues. Okay, so here you have the other sprue. This is sprue A for the M2 model. Here you have the cockpit floor, you got this pilot seat. Here is the side panel for that blank wall that we saw before here. It does come with a detail. It's just a separate molded piece. You get two pilot figures sitting and standing. You get a very rudimentary engine here. It's all molded in one piece. And you get the props. The props, I don't know if you can tell in the light, but there's a slight thin line here where normally you would get the yellow tip markings for on the US aircraft. I imagine would be the equivalent markings for the Japanese. Here you have the cowling, which is molded in two halves, left and right. Now comparing it to the 3 and 5, the cowlings for the 3 and 5 are one piece, and they both look to be identical. You can see there seems to be any differences among them. Same cowling, a little bit of a mold line here right in the center that will have to be sanded, polished off, but otherwise looks good. And then you have the two-piece cowling for the 2. And just compare it here, the details. The engraved lines here. Let me just zoom in. The camera focus better. The engraved detail here for the 3 and the 5 is much more pronounced than you have here on the 2. Also being one piece, all you have to worry about is this little mold line here in the middle. You don't have to worry about the seam line joining these together. Let me give you a close-up look at the pilots that come with the 2. So this is the M2, and this is the pilot for the, let me put it in camera. I get them both here in a shot. So this is the M2 pilot, and put them the same orientation. See if I can do this so you can see them. Apologies, let me just see, you can get them both there. Yeah, there you go. So there you got the two seated pilots for the 2 and the M. They look to be the same, although the mold here seems to be a little bit softer than the later mold here. This seems a little crisper, although it seems the same. I just compare those two. Alright, and let's compare on the 3 kits the cockpit details. Now, first, let me just compare the 3 and the 5 sprues. Let me zoom out here. And apologies for zooming in and out. Just want to make sure you guys can see the details, what I'm seeing. Now, this is sprue A for the M3 and the M5. As you can see, they look identical. They're exactly the same, except one is molded in green, a dark green, one is molded in gray. So since they're both the same, I'm just going to put the 5 to the side and look at the 3, since that is closest, since that's the same color plastic as the two, to make it easier to compare. Alright, so let's put these same orientation here as best as we can. So here we have, again, zoom in. Apologies for all the zooming in and out. Just want to make sure you can see the details. So here you have the cockpit floor for the 2. Here you have the cockpit floor for the 3. See, there are slight differences, which there should be. I mean, there are different models and there are different cockpit details. But otherwise, they're very similar. The one here has this sidewall detail here, which the 2 is lacking there. You got the back wall here for the seat. You see, you got the holes already pre-drilled. Here, this is a solid piece. And you see, take a look at the other side. Yeah, there's no indication of any holes in there to be drilled. Here you have the cockpit instrument panel for the 2 and for the 3. You can see the mold for 1973 is very basic. On the 3 here, you have a little bit more detail, a bit crisper details. You also have some sink marks here, which you don't have here. And this is covered by instrument panels, decals for the instrument panel details. And I presume you can also get aftermarket Edward set if you want a little bit more of a realistic 3D embossed look to them. So those are the differences there. And let's see, where is the seat? Okay. So here you have the pilot seat. Again, this is the 3, this is the 2. You can see the 3, you have the indentations there for the lightning holes that goes in the chair. You can just drill those out very easily with a little small drill. On the 2, there are no lightning holes whatsoever. But it does appear to have, I don't know how well, let's see if I can zoom in even closer here. Not too close. You can barely tell, but there is molded in seat belts on the M2 kit from 73. There are no seat belts here in the 82 kit. So the seat is different. Before I build this, I'll probably look it up to see what is the more accurate. As far as I'm aware of, the seats on the Zeros were all like this and not like that. Let's see, what else can we take a look at here? Okay, as mentioned before, on the 2 you got this really simple plain engine. On the 3 and 5 you have this 2-piece engine here. You got the back rows and the front rows of cylinders, and you got the distributor. I forgot whatever that part, the front part that goes there in front of the engine. That's that part, which you do have also here on the 2. That's that version. And then you got the propellers. Now you can see the propellers are slightly different, especially on the hub. This is smaller, this is bigger, which I believe that is what actually they were in real life, during the life of the plane. And let's see what else can work. Okay, let's take a look at the wheels. Yeah, they are 1-piece wheels, both of them. So you can see the details or lack details. They're very basic, very wheels on both kits. Just not much details in there. You can see the backside. As you can tell, these are keyed. Sorry. As you can tell, these are keyed. So when you put in the landing strut, the wheels will not rotate, but they will have a more secure fit to them once you put them on. And speaking of landing gears, let's look at the landing gear details here. So here you have the 2 landing gears for the 2, and this is for the 3. As you can see, it looks very similar, although maybe the later one probably looks a little bit crisper. Again, makes sense. Here you can see some flash on the sprues. Again, it makes sense. This is a mold from 73. And again, you see the little part here that keys into the wheel, so you have a nice, good, positive fit for the wheels. And also on the attachment points here for the landing gear into the wings are also keyed, so you can put them in the right way, which makes assembly a whole lot easier. Let's see, is there any other parts here that I have not shown you? You got the wheel, you got the landing gear doors. They look very practically the same from one kit to the other. So that hasn't changed between the two molds. Okay, so I think that's most of the sprues. So one thing I've left to show you is the instruction booklet and the decals. So I'll be right back. Alright, so here we have the decals for the three planes. For the M2, the M3, and the M5 model. So here you see this is the for the Mitsubishi A6M2, the Zeke, the one of Pearl Harbor fame. You see it has decals here for the Cockpit fighter group from Pearl Harbor. Here is also labeled here for the 3rd flying group. This is labeled here for the Tamiya flying group, and this is the 261st flying group. So it's good that these are labeled here for what flying group they are, in addition to the numbers that you have, so you can easily identify them. And also you see you got the red wing walk area here, the lines which are missing from the other decal sheets. That's interesting. They all have their instrument panels, decals for the respective aircraft. You got the respective kill markings and plane specific markings for them for each one. So let me just zoom here a little closer so you can see a little bit more detail on each one of here. So this is the M2. As you can see the decals. Let me zoom in just a little closer there. There you go. Alright, so you can see the decals here for the engine. You can see just simple black lines against the clear. It goes against that. Here you got the kill markings for that particular aircraft. Here you got the markings for the landing gear doors, for external landing gear doors, for the indicator markings. So the one with the 3 stripes here, that indicates the landing gear is it's not compressed. So when the landing gear compresses, one of those is hidden. So it shows you how much compression there is on the wheels. So the smaller one is from the landing gear down on the ground, and then for in-flight you will see all 3 lines. Okay. Screw up. Now these are Tamiya decals. So I know some people do not like them because they're a little thick, they don't lay down well, or what have you. I mean, I've used Tamiya decals. I did the A6, the A10 earlier, a few months back, and I used the Tamiya decals and using some Mr. Mark softener. I mean, they lay down fine. Then you put a matte coat on it, and they practically disappear. So, I mean, I personally didn't have any issues with them, but we'll see how well these work. Okay, and let's take a look here at the M3. So here, same thing with the landing gear doors. You got the tri-color indicator and the 2 color indicators for gear down, gear up. Now here, these just have numbers. They're not indicated what flying group or what aircraft group these are, so you just have to go by the numbers. Here you have the instrument panel specific to the 3. Okay, and again, these are Tamiya decals. And lastly, the M5 decals here. Again, you got the markings. Again, same thing with the wheels. Doors up and down. Also, they all have the markings for the propellers, for the warning marks. Here you have the aircraft instrument panel. As you see here, unlike the other one, there is some color here for the instrument panels for some of the dials here. Same thing with the that data. I guess that's a data stencil that's on the side of some of the aircraft. Here you see you have one black with white against, and then you have one that's clear. So I guess that depends what color scheme you're painting the aircraft, which comes out the best. Alright, so those are the 3 decals that comes. And lastly, let me show you the instruction booklets. Alright, so these are the 3 instruction booklets for the 2, for the 3, and the 5. As I mentioned earlier, the 3 and the 5 comes with a copy in English and a copy in Japanese for both of these aircraft. The 2 only comes with English. All my boxing anyway only came with English instructions, but it did come with this very nice, colorful illustration here of the color schemes for this aircraft. And I think this is a nice little touch to add. I mean, not being able to read Japanese, I think I prefer to have this artwork to an extra set of instructions personally. So let me just put these Japanese instructions aside. So here we have our English instructions, and they're kind of typical Tamiya. I'm going to put this artwork aside so I don't mess it up. Alright, so you got a picture on top of a completed model. Then you got in multi-languages, you got the history of the particular aircraft. It's interesting that on these two other boxings that you have a little illustration of the aircraft within the running copy of it as well. Here you got some little specs of the aircraft, which you do not have in the others, it appears. Okay. Alright. So just take a quick look. Now I took a quick look before, and the 6 and the 3 and the 5, the instructions are pretty similar. So let me just compare them more against the 2. So the instructions are quite a little bit different from the typical style. So they all open up, typical Tamiya style opening up. The M2 is a little bit longer. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 panels, whereas the others are just 1, 2, 3 panels. So that's one nice difference in the instruction booklets for these. Now you see here in the front panel where it goes into the construction, and on the M2 model you got the little, which is common nowadays, you got the paint guides, Tamiya paints, precautions, warning, tools you'll need, and they start off with you painting the pilot in there. So you can take a look here between the two different cockpit constructions. This is pretty typical. You put the pieces together, you put the decal sheets in and so forth. Here on the 3, which is similar to the 5, they go out here in English and they spell out things that you can do, a little bit of basically scratch building, like you're drilling out the holes for the seat. Here for the engine, they're telling you about putting in push rods and plug wires. So that's a good little extra tip that they have in there, which they do not include with the older kit, the M2 model here. But otherwise the illustrations are pretty similar to what you find here. And also here in the wheels, they give you landing gear here. Let me just make you read this a little bit better. You know, talking about to put the brake oil pipe and to cut the groove, to put the pipe in and so forth. So you can do a little bit of scratch building. So I think that's good that they include that there. Also, they show you here the correct angles here for the landing strut. As you see, the landing strut, the main landing strut tilts in into the body, and then the wheels out. So then, in fact, you have the wheels are straight up and down. Meanwhile, the landing strut is slightly angled in, which I don't believe they show you that detail on the 2 model. No, they do not. And then you got your paint rollouts. Now over here they give you some information about painting the Zero, and go into some a little bit of the history of what paints they use for what and where and why. Then you got your color callouts. This is for the 6.2 where you have the M2, where you have these color callouts. So you have 1A, B, C, and D, E. So that's 5 different aircraft you can do there. Let me zoom out. You see different aircraft markings that you can do. Gives you the early painting and the late painting. Late painting being the green over the gray, or gray green, versus the overall gray green color for that. And then over here on the 3 and 5, which have a similar layout. You can see, just to show you, you have a similar layout as far as the instructions. Here they are talking about the flap. So yeah, so that detail that you saw inside on the molded plastic of the lower wing of the green plane, the 5, you can cut and pose the flaps here. So that's a little flap detailing that they go into here. They also go into detail with the engine. Same thing with the wheels. How to add your own brake lines. And here showing again the correct angle for the wheels, which is nice to have. When I first built the Zero, the 72nd scale plane didn't come with any instructions about the correct angle for the wheels, so I know that I put those wrong. And again, the other differences here respective to the specific aircraft model. Then you have your painting for respective. So this is the 3. So you have 1, 2, 3, 3 different paint guides. 4. 4 different paint options. You got 2 of the overall gray-green, 1 the green over the light gray, and 1 gray-green with the malt splotches on top. And then for the 6, for the 5, the A5, you have 7 different markings for 7 different aircraft. Although the paint job is there's really only 2 separate different type paint jobs. This is the overall green over the gray. The only difference in the paint job between these aircraft itself is the demarcation line between the green and the gray. As you see, this is straight. Zoom in a little closer, you can see that better. So this is a straight line versus you got the curved angle here. Okay, and those are some differences. And again, here it shows you the landing gear, what to use depending if you have your gear down or gear up. Alright, so those are the instructions for them. Put these away, be right back. Alright, so that was my quick overview of these 3 kits of the Mitsubishi A6M Zero Fighter, the M2, the M3, and the M5A by Tamiya at 1/48th scale. Again, these are the older kits. I know that Tamiya has a newer molding of the A6M3 and the A6M5, which came out in the last year or 2, which I believe those moldings are based on their very excellent 1/32nd scale Zero kits. So those should build to a very nice model. But having said that, that's about, from looking, that's a $45 1/48 scale kit. These 3 kits here, each one you can get between $12 and $15. So for the price of the new mold, you can get these all 3 variations of the plane. You have 3 models on your display case, and also gives you 3 opportunities for practicing and honing your modeling skills. So I'll see how these planes build out. Hopefully they're, even though they're old, they should still build out pretty well. Alright, so I'm not sure when I'll build these. I don't know. Right now I'm thinking maybe I'll do these as a summer, 1 month, 2nd and 3rd month, and see what else I do coming year. Alright, thank you for watching. I hope you found this informational, helpful. If you're looking to get these kits yourselves, and if you have any comments or questions, please post them below. I look forward to them. Alright, thank you all. Have a good day. Bye-bye.